What is going on, cannabis community? Welcome back to Square Groupers 2023, the new season. That's my dog BG over there. BG, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm just happy to be here.
We're back. You know how long it's been? I think I did the math. I think we stopped in August of last year.
Seems
September,
about right.
maybe. August, September of last year. That is it. I cannot believe it's been that long, but it feels good. It feels good to be back in the house. If I'm being honest, man, it's just, I don't know. There's something about it. There's just something about it, man.
Oh, man, especially on hump day, hump day, Square Groupers on hump day, a 360-degree streaming view of cannabis. So we told y'all we was going green during this period here, and here we are. We're live, especially on the Built Different group. I know we're live. Bob's driving over there on his YouTube channel, but welcome everybody to the show. You can look for Square Groupers every Wednesday now, 360-degree streaming view of cannabis. We are back, baby.
We are no doubt back. We've got a special guest hanging out in the green room right now, rolling up a couple dubs. I could see it. You know what? Let's just get it started, man. How you feel about that? Let's just roll into it. You know what? Production, they went about 3 pictures of weed too long on that one, but that's okay. We'll handle that back a little bit. I still like it. I still love it.
I'm feeling the 305 vibes, baby. You know what I mean?
Hey,
the
man.
boys, they headed to the 305 this season.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one, man. I've already got some things lined up to make sure that happens, man. But yeah, welcome back to Square Groupers. Like BG and I were talking about, it has been since about August or September of last year that we have not done this, and I can't believe it's been that long. But it is. Life gets away from you sometimes. A lot of stuff has transpired in the meantime. Let's go to the comments real quick and say what's up to everybody. Vic Martinez, what's up? What is good?
What up, Vic? I see you, baby. He said first, especially on YouTube. What up, YouTube?
YouTube's it. Alex Ocasio. Look who we got.
See you, baby.
Look who we got here, dude. Look who we got
Prototype in the building.
We got Prototype Facebook users saying what's up as always. There we go. That's almost the same as what was before.
What up, Facebook user? We know we got to have at least one every show.
B Red, what's up? Plug
King
and ready
Sharon.
construction. We like it.
King Sharon on the line, y'all. He is tapped in, leaving the job site. That's what I'm talking about. Dedication, baby.
I got to tell you, B Red, for as long as we've been doing this show, I feel like this same theme it's always like we've got this going on when you're on the way home and you're listening to it in your car or truck, your B Red construction Hummer that you're probably riding around in. That's cool, man. We love it.
Now that's his dually. He got a toolbox in the back. You know how the Texas out in Gladewater, Texas, do it. What up, King Sharon? I see you out there, baby.
So we decided we're going to roll with this issue. We've seen a couple things pop up about it. The state of American cannabis. Now, a lot of people, if you're not legal or if you're not even going to dispensaries to get your cannabis, i.e. black market cannabis, you might not notice some of these things popping. But I've just seen a whole lot of stuff going on, negative and positive about what's going on in the industry right now. And we actually have someone in the back. So let's bring him in real quick. A person who's been in the profession and who I've also known my entire life too. He just happens to be my brother. Let's bring in Riles.
What's up, boys?
What up, Rob? Long time no see, baby.
How you been?
Doing, baby.
Been
Every day
off.
above ground's a good one.
We've been off. It's been a long time, dude. So we decided we were going to talk about the state of American cannabis because, like I said, I've heard things about states declining a lot in sales. Actually, more so than anybody. California, I think, is the state I hear more
Washington,
often than not, and Washington as well. So we got a little bit of information here, and we're going to try and bring you real facts, real information. According to the Seattle Times here, this is the sales of cannabis over the last 5 years. BG, you want to say something about this?
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at, everybody knows during the pandemic, everybody was inside, nobody was outside. We've seen the development of Uber weed. We've seen cannabis become essential across that during that period too as well. And there was a quick spike in sales as you look from 19 to 21, about $500 million more in sales. And then we've seen a slight dip in 22 after America has kind of opened back up, so to speak. The CDC guidelines have been relaxed and it looks like it's business as usual. But I've been seeing that a lot of the black market has been taking a spike too as well. And we're trying to figure out here, especially on Square Groupers, and I think that's why we got your brother Rouse here today, is where does the rubber meet the road? What's really going on in the industry? Because depending on who you watch or listen, you could get a slanted narrative.
Would you want to talk California first?
Well, let's pop up. I'm going to go ahead and pop my shirt off. We're going to go ahead and pop this up real quick, and let everybody know that we don't have a graph, the bar graph like we have for the other one. But whether the sales are different doesn't necessarily mean anything. The peaks and valleys are almost the same. You see a big dip here or a big rise in 2020 and 2021, and then the dip, which honestly, I think what happened was, and I think it's good that you're here, Riles, because you'll be able to explain this really well. I think a lot of people in the industry liked that 2020, 2021 set of numbers and started hiring people, started bringing on people and saying to themselves, we've got a big industry here right now, because the numbers were a little skewed. And I think when things fell off, and what I'm saying, got normal again, people started panicking. A lot of people are being released from jobs, or grows are shutting down and shit like that. What do you think happened over the last year? You can speak on California, so go, Bill.
Let's start with California. California's issue is taxes. The taxes are way too high. So if you could go into a legal dispensary and buy an eighth for $40 plus tax, but you can go down the street and get probably better weed for $25, $30, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's a Florida thing too right now.
Well, Florida's pretty much industry thing.
Medical only right now.
Texas, yeah.
So it's definitely, once they go rec, that's going to change over there in Florida. California's issue is they just have too many dispensaries. Everybody thought it was going to be some huge market, which it was. I mean, the amount of users per capita is the biggest in the country in California. But what they didn't realize, if you start taxing the shit out of your weed at 40, 45%, they're just going to go right back to their boys down the street. Why would you go legal when you can go to, get the same weed, if not better, from the Golden Triangle from up north for cheaper? I mean, I would.
Yeah. And speaking of taxes, like I was just telling Bob, going back over the last couple of years, he's helped me be able to obtain a medical card, which helps reduce, the cost of the taxes at the sale there. So if you got a medical card, yeah, you'll be able to avoid some of those taxes. But yeah, the taxes are astronomically so high, it's almost as much as the product.
It is. And California got greedy, and they're paying for it now because a lot of these huge companies, Curaleaf, I think Trulieve, left California. They also left Colorado.
Trulieve had a suit on it too, I think, didn't they?
So a lot of these companies are leaving because the tax implications are insane. The black market is thriving. Granted, they have been trying. If you've been watching the news, they've been raiding a lot of illegal grows in California.
Yeah, big time.
They're doing that. Now they're having an issue in New York. New York just finally went wreck, but New York hasn't got their shit together either. There's more illegal storefronts in New York than there are regular storefronts for legalized cannabis. And they're not doing anything about it. You can have a store in New York that says, buy my weed here and get it. And nobody's going to say a thing.
Honestly, man, the way the New York system is set up with bodegas anyway, that's not really surprising, man. If I'm being honest, just some storefront pops up, like just come get the weed, man.
Or I mean, you even see in the black market some vape stores they sell weed out the back door.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're selling cartridges anyway. Yeah, they might as well sell you the liquid.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like a cover. I mean, you would think if you're in the black market, like what he's saying, I mean, the black market is winning essentially still, even though we thought when legalizing that would put a dent in that. But like I said, I've been doing a lot of research, especially over this last week, knowing that we've got square groupers coming back up, and it's crazy that
Colorado's taking a major hit.
the sales have dipped, over this last year.
At least 40%. I mean, there's a number of reasons. We were a cannabis tourist state. All the states around us were not legal. A lot of those states around us are legal now. Why would you travel to Colorado to buy your cannabis? You don't need to do it anymore. They sold too many licenses here in Colorado. There's more rec licenses than there are Starbucks. Now think about that. That's insane. Okay. Everybody had money during COVID. So this is where their numbers are skewed. We were doing in my old dispensary at least $1.3 million a month in cannabis sales. People were getting free money. They were staying home. They were getting high. Everybody was doing well. Okay. Now, once the government starts taking your money away, you have to actually get a job. You actually have to pay bills. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
You're not going to go and you're not going to buy your weed anymore. So it's become a race to the bottom, actually, in Colorado. I mean, the grows are closing 1 or 2 a week in Colorado.
Oh,
there's just too many grows. There's too many dispensaries. Dispensaries are dropping like flies. I lost my position. You know, they always, get rid of people who are making the most money in order to survive. So they stay afloat for a little bit. They're eventually going to close. I mean, the crash hasn't even begun to start in Colorado yet.
Wow.
It's bad.
The thing is, and we were talking about that earlier, that I believe that as consumers, people or people like myself and BG who aren't in the industry, and someone who's on the other side of the counter, we're hopefully not seeing that. And I'm not seeing that with where I go, Good Chemistry. I don't see that. I see it with a couple of other places that I know about and I've heard about it. But I think most companies try their best to make sure that the consumer doesn't come in and feel, oh, these guys are about to close or they're losing people or something like that. But sometimes it can be a little obvious.
Good Chem's got 6-7 stores.
Yeah,
they have some big. Now they're part of another big conglomeration, so they got money to keep it going. But I wouldn't be surprised if they start closing one store here, one store there. These mom and pop shops, they're closing. They just can't. They can't sell anything. I mean, we were selling, and this is when I say the race to the bottom, $10 eighths plus tax.
Ooh,
damn.
Decent weed. I'm not talking, brick pack crap. Decent weed for just to get people in the door. It's bad. It's bad here.
Wow.
Yeah. Now there's other states that are going to start to flourish. I mean, Michigan, Illinois, New York, DC, Florida. When Florida goes rec, it's going to be insane. How crazy it's going to be there.
Let me ask you a question. What is your thoughts about Oklahoma? Oklahoma's been touted as one of the fastest trailblazing states since they've legalized in that particular area. Do you have anything to add about Oklahoma?
Oklahoma did the same thing California did. They said, let's just get this license money. I don't care. Let's tax the hell out of them. So they gave out 1,000 licenses. Okay. So everywhere you go, you'll see a dispensary. How is that good for business? It's not. It's going to be you start cutting everybody else's throat. Like, okay, the guy down the street selling for $15, we'll sell for 10 just to keep the doors open. You can't give out that many licenses.
Matter of fact, I know they got a couple of dispensaries right across I-35. If you drive up north, all my Texas folks here on BDG that follow, you take I-35 north up to OKC from Dallas. You pass the Red River right there. You got Windstar Casino, but I've heard a couple of Austinites have actually opened up dispensaries there. Now you got a majority of Texans driving across state line to purchase max amount of cannabis just to turn back and go to a state that doesn't allow it. Yeah.
Well, that's how Colorado was doing so well for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, the people from the South were coming up and buying, especially if you had a medical card, they were just maxing out, going home, coming back up the next day, maxing out, and then just selling it on the streets. And that's where we made a lot of our revenue, tourism and people coming from across the borders. And it's over with now.
So you had middle
Yeah.
sales guys coming in buying bulk weed and then going and selling it out on the street, essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you could go on Amazon. You can go on some of these, like not Silk Road, that's not around anymore, but you can buy cookies packaging, fake cookies packaging, and going and buying this weed and just packing it up as cookies and just selling it to your buddies for $50, $40.
Just using Burner's good name like that.
Sure. Yeah. And by the way, cookies closed in Oklahoma. They couldn't keep it open.
Really?
Yeah. They had to shut down.
I mean, that's tough, man. And the other part of it too is some people are, I guess, maybe the ones that don't really give a damn whether they're following the laws or not, have so much of this cannabis on hand that the only way they're going to get rid of it without it going bad on their ass is actually selling it out the back door, selling it black market. And that's exactly what's happening. I can't imagine so much out here, but I guess it does, man. You know, as someone who strictly gets it from one place, I can't really talk about that because I don't really touch that. But I know Florida, every single person I talk to that I try and get on board with Florida medical cannabis says exactly what Bill said earlier. Why are you going to bother going through even taking 2 steps, going and telling somebody your name and then getting a fucking card when all you need to do is just call this guy? And I'm telling you, I know I've got 2 really close friends of mine that I talk to them every single day, and they show me on video chat the nugs, and they are fucking gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Really, really nice bud, man. And they're not getting it from dispensaries out there at all.
Now, the states, I mean, it's difficult to grow outdoor in New York, in Michigan, and Chicago. I mean, the states like here, or like Colorado, California, Florida, you could have grows in the middle of nowhere and get away with it. You can't do that in some of these states. So you're not going to have a black market in these states. Not you will, but it won't be as big as some of these other states with the black market. You know, Canada is another one that, in fact, they were probably one of the first to really start making.
They went all in. Yep.
Huge grows. I'm talking 5,000-10,000 plant grows. They couldn't get rid of it. And in Canada, after a certain amount of time, if you don't sell that, you need to burn it. The government comes and picks it up. There's like a system, kind of like Metric there. If it's been sitting on the shelf or sitting in the back room for a year, they're taking it from you. You're losing that, and they're disposing of it. Wow. Canada's pretty bad too. I mean, everybody. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You know, there's been probably, I think I was looking at some Seattle Times. It may be included in that link I gave you there, Bob, I think. Maybe it might be on another one. But the number of robberies taking place with dispensaries has essentially declined. It was 70-something, I think, over this last year. Folks have even got shot and killed. In your opinion, have you seen that in the industry? Has that been a deterrence maybe to maybe some of the sales dip that cannabis stores are in fear of not having security or just people being robbed, essentially?
We've had break-ins in Colorado. I mean, we had one at our shop when I was there. They didn't get all the way in. But not as bad as, say, California, Oregon, and these places where people are so blatant. I mean, if you're watching, in Twitter, every other friggin' tweet is people walking into a Target, filling it up, their basket up, and just walking out the door, just stealing it.
Damn.
And there's nothing people can do about it. They're telling them, do not try to stop them. Don't interact with them.
Wow.
People don't have any money anymore. There's no jobs. I hate to say it, some of these states, like California and Oregon, aren't as tough on crime as, say, Florida, Texas, where if you get caught stealing some shit, you're going to jail. Yeah. And I mean, I hate to bring politics into it, but some of these Democratic states, they're very, very lax on homelessness, on robbery, on all that stuff. So
yeah. I mean, if you're in Washington State, big time number. I think almost close to 5,000 homeless folks. You know what I mean? They've tried to do some things to curb that, but yeah, just it's crazy. You're right. The economy's bad. That's also got to contribute to folks not buying as much weed. Everybody's got to either go back to work or, like you said, not getting any more free money to be able to sit at home and go to these dispensaries. But I just noticed that over the recent news, because one of the dispensaries here close to where I live at, like I said, they got robbed, and one of the kids that worked in the dispensary was shot and killed.
Yeah,
and I had seen that coming and knew that these dispensaries, y'all are sitting cash operators. It's like you're just waiting to get robbed, essentially. And we've even seen some reports of the IRS and the government getting involved and people just stealing all kind of money and act like it never happened.
Well, in Colorado, if you have a weapon in a dispensary, not only do you go to jail, you lose your MED license if you're working for that facility. So you can't even protect yourself.
Well, yeah, by law it makes sense, but then that answers the question, because I was thinking, why don't they have? Because I did security in the Navy. I'm retired Navy. We did armed security watches, deadly force, qualify, all that great stuff. I'm thinking, damn, got all this cash in here. Somebody just run up in here with a gun. It's always they're going to give it the cash and you're going. You just take an L that day, and like you said, nobody's going to run and catch them.
No. We've been the government. Excuse me. The lobbyists have been trying to pass a bill called the Safe Banking Act, which will allow us to actually not have to worry about keeping $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 of cash in a safe. We actually can be able to have not only credit card transactions, where a way we can actually get cash put into a regular bank where it's safe. Some of these cannabis banks that we have in Colorado, if say they get robbed on the way to drop this off at their banks, even if they work for that bank, they are not going to get their money back.
Not insured. That's
They're not protected. So, I mean, that's another issue too. So, I mean, unfortunately, we have a double-edged sword in this country. Everybody wants legalization and they want the government. But once you get the government involved, we're going to have another problem. There's going to be no more mom and pops. There's going to be
the fact that these guys are closing down, like you're saying, the mom and pops, like that's actually that. Now it almost feels like, okay, now all these competitors are going to be fucking wiped out. Now things are going to be legal because it's also a very chance to get swooped in.
Pfizer will come in, Walmart, Microsoft, everybody with billions of dollars to say, I'll buy all your dispensaries.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. What's going to happen.
Reason, and I don't want to get off in politics because that's not what we want to do here. But I mean, politics, unfortunately, are involved in this industry that we're talking about. But, I was doing some research and I'd seen this video on Oklahoma. Now there's this conspiracy that the Chinese are investing in to the weed industry in terms of dispensaries opening up. And that's a part of the reason why Oklahoma's had such fast growth. And that's why I wanted to ask you. I mean, you didn't even touch on that, but not saying that's what's happening, but that's the type of stuff that's being put out there. This was a major news network that was talking. I think it was a CBS. So it was like, wow,
Yeah,
I look at Oklahoma too, and I know that they've got those dispensaries down at the bottom, and that's a given with Texans traveling back and forth. But in the city of Oklahoma, I was there for about 3 years, and it's very small. I was just curious, damn, how is that much weed being smoked and invested into out there when the population is not even that big?
Yeah. Well, I doubt communist China is investing in America. I mean, that's the last thing America wants is communist countries coming in and investing in our illegal activities, supposedly, without them knowing about it. Now, we do have issues with Mexican cartels coming up and bringing a lot of money in and telling these dispensaries, okay, we own you now, or we're going to kill your family.
Damn.
And you're going to sell the weed and give us the money. And now that is true.
Like a hostile takeover.
Yeah.
Like pretty much you get with the program.
Mm-hmm.
Like Italians in New York back in the days.
Absolutely. Yeah. Except the Italians were doing it to the Italians. The Mexicans are doing it to everybody. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. I think Sarah had a question down there talking about paying cash at dispensaries. My home dispensary, I still do, but one of the local dispensaries here, I mean, Vegas, I think caught on the fastest with the bank card transaction.
Yeah, mine's bank card too.
Which was
they
great.
Stopped that here.
Yeah, one is out here I have that I go to. One is, and then one is cash only. So
yeah, we actually were able to take debit cards for a long time. Visa, MasterCard, I don't know if they caught on or maybe they got some heat from the government, but they cut it off. So you just can't do that anymore. So it's either the ATM, cash, or what's the name of that? Prepaid card.
Right. Or they basically treat your debit transaction as an ATM.
Yeah.
They can do that at point of sale.
It's like a $3 charge on top of that to make it look good.
But not anymore. You can't do that anymore in Colorado.
Okay.
They stopped
that's what Vegas is doing over there.
Yeah, it's cash only.
Oh, okay.
So in a lot of ways, Colorado has been the leader, and then they've kind of regressed in a lot of ways with cannabis. And until we get it legalized, and like I said, everybody wants legalization. There's going to be problems when the government gets involved. There's a double-edged sword. The government's going to help you. It's going to protect you. It's going to keep your money safe. It's not going to let people rob you, but they're going to get their fingers put on every piece of the dispensary. They're going to touch everything.
And people will make money at first right off the bat, and then eventually the long run winners will be the people, the big people.
Yeah,
because people owning the people running the dispensaries are not going to be making the money. That's not going to happen.
You can't write off losses now, and then 280E. If you look up 280E, you can't write off any expenses. They don't give a shit.
Exactly.
It's based on sales.
You're getting taxed. You can't write off anything.
Yeah, it's
like,
rough.
You're like
you sold this much.
Government just operate.
Yes. I don't care what your expenses are. So that's a killer too.
Well, it says here the difference. I think there was a 20.7% decline from 2021 to 2022 out here in Denver, which is pretty friggin' massive. And considering how big it was, and again, that decline is skewed because of how big the rise was during the COVID lockdown. Everybody was not only sitting around probably going to smoke more. The people who aren't smoking said to themselves, I can try it now. I can't work for 5 freaking months or whatever the case is. And then there were also people who were taking advantage of medical programs in the area because they were saying to them, they were hearing that cannabis is going to help you with COVID or whatever the case may be. Sure. So those numbers rose in such a huge rate. Again, as a consumer, the only thing I felt was that I was only paying $70 an ounce during that time, which was freaking fabulous.
Plus if you're home working, you can't drink. How could you be drunk and work? You can be high and still function. So I mean, too.
Drunk and work. There's some people out there like they'll debate you on that one, but
but still, how much is going to get done if you're drunk? I mean, if you're high, you can do some stuff. Yeah. So COVID was an outlier. It
spiked a lot of stuff, though, and I think it set expectations that were a little bit unattainable after in the long run, which is exactly why we're seeing what we're seeing.
Right, this industry is only 10 years old.
Yeah.
There's no
that's
book.
actually true.
There's no book yet. Everything is kind of like throw it against the wall and see what sticks right now.
It's just that all three of us have been dealing with this cannabis our entire life in some form or fashion, that now that it's only been legal for 10 years or whatever the case may be, all this stuff is coming. Everybody else is starting to think of it as something new, whereas we've dealt with dry seasons a lot in our life.
And workers and cannabis workers we're coming over the border to get into this business. They're all leaving. I mean,
and you know what? And in Lakewood, Colorado, I don't mind that anymore. That's actually pretty cool. That's good.
I understand that exactly. But they're all going to be closing soon. They're going to start. If you really love cannabis, like me especially, I've been offered jobs in other states that are still going legal. They're going to start picking the states that have been legal and know what they're doing for a long time. My position right now, it's $19 an hour. That's what they're offering right now because they just can't pay anymore. Other states, they're offering what I was getting paid before. So unless you want to move, this industry is going to slowly get worse and worse in Colorado. Other states, like I said, is going to be a huge boom like it was here 7-8 years ago.
The level off is going to happen everywhere, and the boom is going to happen everywhere new. So then, like you said, if it does happen in Texas, it's going to be crazy in Texas. But if it happens in Florida will probably set the precedent for Texas to say, okay, we're cool with this, and then run with it. But Florida has to be a trendsetter. I've heard lately, honestly, Ken Mann and some guys, Dr. Russell out there, a lot of other people are hearing from secondhand and otherwise that it's going up in quality out there at the very least, which is a good thing.
Florida did something good and they did something bad. They went in there and they said, okay, Florida, we're allowing medical. First of all, we voted recreational in, but then they said no. The Supreme Court in Florida said no, so they screwed everybody over. But what they did is they said, okay, if you're going to grow cannabis, you need to be a farmer who's lived here before and knows how to grow. So they granted grow licenses to the people who are growing tomatoes and Homestead, the people who are growing corn. So that's what they did initially, okay? And now when they started going, okay, we're going to give out licenses. We're giving out 4 licenses per area, which is North Florida, Central Florida, Southern Florida. So only 4 licenses for each area.
Wow.
So say True Leaf, which is huge in Florida, was one of the first ones. So they get grandfathered in. So now True Leaf, Cure Leaf, a couple other ones. There's only about 4 or 5, but these are major corporations that will own them all in Florida.
Yeah, I got beef with Florida, especially. I thought that we went out there for Disneyland and family, and I said, oh, they're medical. That's cool because I got a medical card up here in Washington. Should be good, right? So I get down there, going to the dispensary, thinking, oh yeah, I'm about to give me some good old cannabis, right? And they're like, nah, if you don't have if you're not a resident of Florida with a card, you can't buy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
basically.
That's a shitty rule.
I'm
We
like,
would just
man,
give.
this is the dumbest shit. Like I got a bone to pick with Florida.
Hey, look, it's either that or they're going to hit you with the Delta 8 anyway. You know what I mean? They're going to.
Look, I even got somebody that tried it, and I'm like, bruh.
No.
Smoke weed every day.
And none of that Delta 8, man.
I saw you posted, Bobby, on Facebook. The better watch out when you're in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was quite hilarious because what it is what I meant to show is that if you're not ahead, you would have never fallen for that. I mean, you're going to probably fall for that. If you're ahead, you're not falling for that shit.
So
because you know right away whether a dispensary is or
well,
is not.
As you know, I go to me and Carrie go to Vegas all the time. We love Las Vegas. So I remember when those first started popping up, I'm like, on the Strip, is this legal? Because you can't even have cannabis within a certain amount of feet from a federal anything, which is the casinos are federally governed. So you can't even smoke in a casino, by the way. You will go to jail. They're lax about it, but that's how strict they are. So you can't be a certain amount of, say, yards or miles. Okay. So all the real dispensaries are in the warehouse district in Las Vegas. So we saw a couple on the Strip. We're like, what the hell is this? This has got to be illegal. So I'd walk in there and I'd look around and I'd go, nope, no percentages. What's going on here? And I asked the guy, so what's the THC percentage? He goes, oh, it's pretty high. I go, okay, so give me a number. He goes, well, I go, dude, you're not selling THC, you're selling CBD flower, and that ain't going to get you high. It's just going to put you to sleep. So I'm shocked that 2 years later, there's a lot of great dispensaries in Las Vegas, by the way. I mean, if you ever go to Vegas, go to Planet 13 or look it up.
Yeah, PG's been there a couple times, I think. Yeah.
It is awesome.
It is the grade A1. I don't know. I heard they're building last time I was there, they invited us back. It was a group of us there. They let us see the security cameras and all that. We were talking about security that was there on the premises. They're talking about expanding, opening a hotel and a lounge there.
Yeah.
You can just purchase in. So Planet 13, yeah, they have
a coffee house in there. They have a restaurant, a pizza place in there. Yeah. So,
nice.
Eventually these little mom and pop CBD pieces of shit are going to close because people start realizing, hey, dude, this isn't real. But they got their money right away.
Man, every time I go to Vegas, when I stay at Caesars, I just go out there by the fountain right in front of the hotel. I walk outside. I'm not going to try my luck in the hotel, like, you know.
That's too hot. That's old school people would never do that. That's just not something you don't heat yourself up like that in the public like that. That's not how that works, man. That's insanity, man.
I love Planet 13, and they had the ACH or the automatic, debit transaction there, which is great. Because I'm like, oh, I forgot, I needed to get cash, and I was like, oh, they can take the card in here now. So
and it rounds up, and they give you change.
Yeah, and if you're a medical card holder, if you register with them the first time that you go in there, they keep you on file. So every time you go back in there, once it lapses, you just need to show proof of update. If you go back, and bam, they give you the medical discount there and too. So gotta love Planet 13.
Yeah, Vegas is great for cannabis right now. Granted, it's a tourist destination. They overcharge you. I mean, it's almost 30 to 40% higher there than it is here, but they don't care. The tourists don't care.
They got some good tree out there, though.
Yeah, they do.
They all the way they got it in the glass casing there for you to look at it.
Look, man, if there's a way to make money, Vegas is going to perfect it en masse so that you and your family can go there and buy anything, whatever the hell they're selling all at one time. I know that much. I've only been there one time in my life. I'm going to go back, though, because I need to check this place out, man. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess as a consumer, that it's not really the hardest thing to deal with. I guess people who have a home dispensary like I do, a place that they go all the time, when those things start closing, that's a big deal. I know that if I don't have the choice that I've had for the last 12 or 13 years anymore, I'm going to be pretty pissed off about it. And that's going to happen, I think, at some point. I don't know if it can go on forever, but we were making, as a state, we were making some real good money there. And again, everything levels out, and it's going to happen everywhere. There's going to be a boom, and there's going to be a taper off. And as it's one of those things that I'm not sure if I kind of was foreseeing that, but my need to learn how to start growing indoors right around 2019, 2020 was because I saw that some strains were not available anymore. And I knew that was going to happen, I think, with cannabis in general.
Well, you're
some
also
dispensaries are going to shut down.
yeah, but you're an odd bird. You're a genetic
Yeah.
freak. A lot of people aren't genetic.
Built different.
Yeah, you're built a little different. I mean, so yeah. But until we start limiting licenses here in Colorado, the grow licenses, the regular licenses for storefronts aren't given back out after you take one away. There's no chance for this industry to keep sustaining the amount of money they were making.
That's tough.
It's virtually impossible, especially with all the states around us. That's the key. All the states around us are going wreck. Colorado's not a destination anymore.
The license is a big deal because they're getting the money right away. Whereas what we're asking them to do, or what they might wind up having to do, is slowing down with the amount of licenses and just trust that the money will come that will be generated from those very limited licenses, as opposed to handing out a bunch of licenses and saturating.
But you know how governments work. They already have their budget for next year. They've budgeted our tax dollars, cannabis tax dollars, for next year. So they need to look 2 years ahead, not 1 year. So they need to figure this out now for 2 years ahead. Like, hey, we're not going to make this much money. We need to start cutting some other spending that we're doing. Instead of granting all these licenses, having these grows go under, and then not getting paid. That's what they're realizing. They're coming in and they're going, okay, where's the money you owe us in taxes? We don't have it. Okay, you're closed. Well, go ahead, close me. What are you going to take?
Right. Just write it up.
It's a cold game out there.
It is.
But I tell you what, even now, the amount of money that I spent during the 2020 and 2021 lockdown on seeds is nothing compared to how much those seeds would be selling for right now. So I would venture to say that they've probably gone up 60% per seed, which is insane. So obviously, yes, I am insane about the genetics, but they were finding ways to make money in other areas of this business that they weren't doing a long time ago, I think, because of kind of the hurt. And then obviously the boom of the home grower, because it is massive. It's something that I've seen grow single-handedly. When in 2020, there was only a handful of people I trusted online to listen to. And now there's quite a few because of all the resources that have been involved in it.
If like you, Bob, you grow good stuff. You have a license. Now, why would I go to a dispensary and spend money when I can go over to your house and say, hey, what do you got?
Yeah, that's true. Especially, and you don't even need to be growing in the hopes of selling it. You can just, kind of give it out, and that's still a plus for a pothead. Like, oh, I don't even have to buy it, and it's top notch. Yeah, that's an option. Is that an option?
I would go to your dispensary because you know genetics, you know how stuff grows.
Right.
A lot of these dispensaries with grows are just filled with friggin' mites and crap, and like
that's another part of the loss as well.
Yeah, it's just garbage. It's like they don't know what they're doing. They don't want to pay growers to do the correct things. They want to cut corners, and then you have all these bad weed on the shelves, and then they come and they take the weed off the shelf, and then it's just bad here. This could be a 3-hour friggin' chat.
I bet. BG, have you seen any decline in the quality of cannabis out there, or even the kind of strains that you once liked aren't around anymore? Do you see that happening at all?
I mean, like I say, I got a home dispensary and another dispensary that I go to up here. So Northwest Cannabis Connection, and then also Clear Choice Cannabis in Tacoma. And usually I can find what I'm looking for in between. But having that card is critical because like what we've been talking about, taxes, when you got a medical card, especially for veterans out there, if you're in states that, you can use cannabis as an alternative medicine, so to speak, as to opioids, it's a good opportunity for you to save some money. But yeah, I pretty much been pretty solid up here. Like I'm on Artisan is a pretty solid brand, and like I'm on their pre-rolls now. So I'm usually finding a good supply of Artisan up here. But during the pandemic, there was a bunch of brands that's going to, like, the logistics was crazy. There was nothing. And then sometimes we were just out and you had to take whatever you had.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, the cream eventually rises to the top. So these dispensaries that are left, say, a year from now, are the ones that actually have quality products at decent prices, good genetics. Those are the ones that are going to last.
Yeah, no doubt. Because those are definitely the only ones. If it comes down to my home place going down or whatever the case may be, having to shop somewhere else. That's definitely the first thing I'm going to look for. The thing is that they've created, the whole thing has created a super intelligent consumer and a very picky consumer. Even people who are limited in knowledge with cannabis can basically project themselves as a consumer who's been around a long time, because they can demand this, that, and the other thing. And when that quality starts going down, that's going to be a bit of a struggle, I think, for the average pothead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Riles, man, I appreciate you coming on, dude. I know that you've got things you're trying to do here and there, man. Thanks for squeezing on in here. BG, you got anything you want to say before we get?
Great.
You got anything else you want to say before we get out of here, BG?
Yeah, go Heat.
Yeah. Last night.
It's Lake Show, baby. You know what I mean? We already handle business up there in Chase Center. So
yeah,
yes,
I see the Heat, though. I like me some Jimmy Buckets, boy. Is he gonna be back?
He'll be back Saturday.
I like Jimmy Buckets, man. I like playoff Jimmy. He's exciting to watch.
He is. He's good.
Jimmy.
Him and Butler.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Good stuff, man.
Peace.
All right, man. Be well, dude. Thanks a lot, man.
Later, man.
So look at that, man. We got a ridiculous amount more of information than I thought we were even going to talk about in this 40-minute segment. So that's
man.
what's up, dude.
Just water hosing it, bro.
I knew it. He had something. There was just something in the way he texted me like, yeah, I really want to talk. I was like, oh, shit, let's get on, man. All right. That's good stuff, man. All right, man. Well, I guess we could just get on out of here, man. I appreciate everybody who was on. We definitely appreciate everybody in the Built Different group. We had a lot of people on my my YouTube page. Thank you so much. For any of you folks out there who haven't subscribed, please do. YouTube.com/cultivating with the Cannabis Cowboy. That would be awesome if you go check that out. We're going to be there live from here on out on Wednesdays, sometime around this time. I think we're going to jump up and down in times until we find something that works for us, but it'll be somewhere, I think, between, let's say, 4 and 6 Eastern, just for the heck of it. And maybe some crazy ones when we might be somewhere else on location in Oxnard, maybe, for little things like that here and there. We might talk about that. But anyway, man, BG, it was a good one, man. We appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with us. Thanks so much for chilling with Square Groupers.
As always, watch for the hook.
Yeah, keep growing. We'll see you.